Hello one and hello all. We're back with Eric Dubay's 200 proofs. I'm going to do 16 to 25 today and see how it goes. So 16.
The experiment known as Airy's failure proved that stars move relative to a stationary Earth and not the other way around. By first filling a telescope with water to slow down the speed of light inside, then calculating the tilt necessary to get the starlight directly down the tube, Airy failed to prove the heliocentric theory, since the starlight was already coming in the correct angle with no change necessary, and instead proved the geocentric model correct. 17.
Okay, this is a fun one. So Airy's failure didn't fail because it didn't prove the heliocentric model. No, it was trying to prove / disprove if a luminiferous aether existed, aka they were like, hey, sound moves in waves and it moves through a medium, surely light has the same thing. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and they called this the aether. And Airy's failure was trying to prove the aether, but it failed because aether doesn't exist.
Olber's paradox states that if there were billions of stars, which are suns, the night sky would be filled completely with light. As Edgar Allan Poe said, were the succession of stars endless, then the background of the sky would present us a uniform luminosity, since there could exist absolutely no point in all that background at which would not exist a star. In fact, Olber's paradox is no more a paradox than George Airy's experiment was a failure. Both are actually excellent refutations of the heliocentric spinning ball Earth model. 8.
Okay, so basically what he said there was, if there were truly billions of stars, you would be able to not see stars. How does that prove flatness exactly? Gotta wonder. You do understand that the galaxy is freaking gigantic. The universe is freaking gigantic. There is so much room for there to be stars to be hanging out in. But yeah, clearly, nah, man. Calculations, nah, man. 8 inches per mile squared, nah, man, it's all fake.
The Michelson-Morley and Sagnac experiments attempted to measure the change in speed of light due to Earth's assumed
Wait a minute, did you say Michelson-Morley?
motion through space. After measuring in every possible different direction in various locations, they failed to detect any significant change whatsoever, again proving the stationary geocentric model. 19.
I think that was the Michelson-Morley experiment. If it was, then it was trying to prove aether again. If it's not that, I've never heard that experiment.
Tycho Brahe famously argued against the heliocentric theory in his time, positing that if the Earth revolved around the Sun, the change in relative position of the stars after 6 months' orbital motion could not fail to be seen. He argued that the stars should seem to separate as we approach and come together as we recede. In actual fact, however, after 190 million miles of supposed orbit around the Sun, not a single inch of parallax can be detected in the stars, proving that we have not moved at all. 20.
It's very subtle movement. There. So slight that you won't be able to notice it. Unless it's like a freaking year-long time lapse or something like that.
If Earth were truly constantly spinning eastwards at over 1,000 miles per hour, vertically fired cannonballs and other projectiles should fall significantly due west. In actual fact, however, when this has been tested, vertically fired cannonballs shoot upwards an average of 14 seconds ascending, 14 seconds descending, and fall back to the ground no more than 2 feet away from the cannon, often directly back into the muzzle. 21.
Okay. So basically, like I said in the last video, relativity, it's relative to the Earth. It's curving with the Earth, you dingus, it's this all over again, except slightly different. Oh my god. This is just a mess. Yeah, it's relative. Ever heard of the theory of relativity? It's relative, you know? I don't know what else I can add to this.
If the Earth were truly constantly spinning eastward at over 1,000 miles per hour, helicopters and hot air balloons should be able to simply hover over the surface of the Earth and wait for their destinations to come to them. 22.
Okay, again, it's spinning with the Earth, thanks to physics. Things like gravity, which doesn't exist apparently. Frickin' flat earthers deny anything that debunks the ball. Sorry, that debunks the flatness and proves the ball. It's all fake.
If Earth were truly constantly spinning eastward at over 1,000 miles per hour, during the Red Bull stratosphere dive, Felix Baumgartner, spending 3 hours ascending over New Mexico, should have landed 2,500 miles west into the Pacific Ocean, but instead landed a few dozen miles east of the takeoff point. 23.
Again, relativity. He's spinning with the Earth, so the wind's slightly carrying him. It's the wind that's carrying him, not the freaking spin of the Earth. Jesus Christ!
Ball believers often claim gravity magically and inexplicably drags the entire lower atmosphere of the Earth in perfect synchronization up to some undetermined height, where this progressively faster spinning atmosphere gives way to the non-spinning, non-gravitized, non-atmosphere of infinite vacuum space. Such nonsensical theories are debunked, however, by rain, fireworks, birds, bugs, clouds, smoke, planes, and projectiles, all of which would behave very differently if both the ball Earth and its atmosphere were constantly spinning eastward at 1,000 miles per hour.
No, they wouldn't.
24. If Earth and its atmosphere were constantly spinning eastward over 1,000 miles per hour, then north-south facing cannons should establish a control, while east-firing cannonballs should fall significantly farther than all others, while west-firing cannonballs should fall significantly closer. In actual fact, however, regardless of which direction cannons are fired, the distance covered is always the same. 25.
Is this a continuation of the previous canon one? Because just go back to the previous canon proof and just listen to what I said there. It's the same thing, basically.
If Earth and its atmosphere were constantly spinning eastwards over 1,000 miles per hour, then the average commercial airliner traveling 500 miles per hour should never be able to reach its eastward destinations before they come speeding up from behind. Likewise, westward destinations should be arrived at thrice the speed, but this is not the case. 26.
Do I gotta get the globe again? Globe. Globe. Plane. Earth. Globe spinning. Globe spins. Airplane spinning with it. Because of relativity and gravity. Oh my goodness freaking gracious. Look, we gotta take into account all scientific laws here. You can't just say gravity isn't real because it disproves literally everything. And screw it, we're going to 30 proofs. Why not? 15 a video, because screw it, 10 proofs go by like a second.
Quoting Heaven and Earth by Gabrielle Henriette. If flying had been invented at the time of Copernicus, there is no doubt that he would have soon realized that his contention regarding the rotation of the Earth was wrong, on account of the relation existing between the speed of an aircraft and that of the Earth's rotation. If the Earth rotates, as it is said, at 1,000 miles an hour, and a plane flies in the same direction at only 500 miles, it is obvious that its place of destination will be farther removed every minute. On the other hand, if flying took place in the opposite direction to that of the rotation, a distance of 1,500 miles would be covered in 1 hour instead of 500, since the speed of the rotation is to be added to that of the plane. It could also be pointed out that such a flying speed of 1,000 miles an hour, which is supposed to be that of the Earth's rotation, has recently been achieved, so that an aircraft flying at this rate in the same direction as that of the rotation could not cover any ground at all. It would remain suspended in midair over the spot from which it took off, since both speeds are equal. 27.
Okay, that was a quote from ancient times, which could be inaccurate, because we've gotten more advanced since then in both our knowledge of the universe and how it works, and physics, and just stuff in general. And 2, I just said this stuff, but screw it. Globe spins with the Earth. How many times in?
If Earth and its atmosphere were constantly spinning eastwards over 1,000 miles per hour, landing airplanes on such fast-moving runways, which face all manner of directions, north, south, east, west, and otherwise, would be practically impossible. Yet, in reality, such fictional concerns are completely negligible. 28.
Okay. Globe spins with flame. You getting sick of this yet? I'm getting sick of this. Jesus Christ. What is this nonsensical nonsense?
If the Earth and its atmosphere were constantly spinning eastwards over 1,000 miles per hour, then clouds, wind, and weather patterns could not casually and unpredictably go every which way, with clouds often traveling in opposing directions at varying altitudes simultaneously. 29.
Clouds, relative. It's Earth. It's spinning relative with the Earth. What is... Freaking yoga balls get more screen time than me in this video.
If the Earth and its atmosphere were constantly spinning eastwards over 1,000 miles per hour, this should somewhere, somehow be seen, heard, felt, or measured by someone, yet no one in history has ever experienced this alleged eastward motion. Meanwhile, however, we can hear, feel, and experimentally measure even the slightest westward breeze. 30.
Why can't you feel the movement? Why can't you feel the movement? Oh crap. Here's you. You're spinning with it so you don't feel it. It doesn't feel like you're moving because it's constant and consistent movement. That's why. You only feel change in movement when it's sudden, when a bus turns. Like, you can be walking on a train, it makes a turn, you fall over. Same thing, if it suddenly spit in the other direction, you would fly.
In his book, South Sea Voyages, Arctic and Antarctic explorer Sir James Clark Ross described his experience on the night of November 27, 1839, and his conclusion that the Earth must be motionless. The sky being very clear, it enabled us to observe the higher stratum of clouds to be moving in an exactly opposite direction to that of the wind, a circumstance which is frequently recorded in our meteorological journal, both in the northeast and southeast trades, and has also often been observed by former voyagers. Captain Basil Hall witnessed it from the summit of the peak of Tenerife, and Count Strzelecki on ascending the volcanic mountain of Kyrenia in Owyhee, reached at 4,000 feet an elevation above that of the trade wind, and experienced the influence of an opposite current of air of a different hydrometric and thermometric condition. Count Strzelecki further informed me of the following seemingly anomalous circumstance, that at the height of 6,000 feet, he found the current of air blowing at right angles to both the lower strata, also of a different thermometric condition, but warmer than the interstrata. Such a state of the atmosphere is compatible only with the fact which other evidence has demonstrated, that the Earth is at rest. 31.
Okay. That was a complicated one. I will admit this right now. I did not fully understand some of the stuff he was saying. I'm only in 8th grade. That's a downover way to end it now, ain't it? Well, I've gotten 29 out of 30 debunked so far. I think that's a good record. You win this round. If someone can debunk that, let me know in the comment section down below. And you can leave a like or subscribe if you feel like it. And tell me anything else if you have anything in the comment section. Or you can tell me anything else if you have something else to say about it in the comment section down below, along with any other debunks that I may have missed. And until next time, I'll see you later, everybody. Bye-bye.